Hello friends! It's officially 2022, so let me just show you what I did for my bujo setup. I'm gonna continue using my Muji bullet journal just because I started it this September and there's no point in starting a new one. And I'm just gonna jump right into the yearly cover page. So on the left side, I am going straight in with a black pen, also from Muji. And I'm just writing the year in the middle. I decided to be a little fancy with how I did the numbers, but that's not a requirement. You'll see from this video that I don't actually go crazy with my bullet journal stuff. I find that if I plan to do too much of like an elaborate drawing setup, I just end up not doing it. So I like to keep it simple and bring in mixed media stuff. So I'm gonna bring in some scrap paper from an old book and also some old packaging. And I cut up little pieces, actually I ripped them up, and then I'm just going to play around with how I stick them up in the corners, and I'm going to glue them down. I kind of wish I didn't use a glue stick for this just because it kind of does warp the paper a little bit, but that's okay, it's not too noticeable. Now it did feel like there was something that was missing, so I did bring in some stickers that I had that kind of look like old stamps, and I tried them out. And I didn't really like what it looked like, so I just left it and I added a little border around the 2022 and then I just called it a day. Now on the right, I started doing some flowers in black pen as well. I did pre-draw them in pencil because I don't trust myself to not make mistakes still, and that's perfectly okay. But I did the flowers around this rectangle that I marked off, and I'm going to be putting scrap paper on it too later. But this page is actually a quotes page. It's probably more than I normally do, like it's a little extra even for me. But there is actually a quote that I want to live by and want to keep in mind this year. And that quote is, anything worth doing is worth doing 10% of. Because I struggle a lot with like all or nothing type of mentality. And it really holds me back in life, I think, and I cringe thinking back to all the things I could have possibly achieved if I was okay with slowly chipping away at something instead of feeling like I needed to sit down and create a masterpiece in one sitting, or doing something perfectly from the get-go. So yeah, this is gonna be my quote page. I'm gonna look at it whenever I tend to get a little too perfectionistic. I wrote quote of the year down on the bottom, and then I added some cute little washi tape that I had. It's like black and white kind of grass, so I thought that would look good. I did try it on the first, like the cover page in the corners, and I still didn't like that, so I just left it, and this is how the two pages turned out. Okay, so the next two pages I divided into 4 sections: books, podcasts, TV, and other, just to have a place to write down things that pop up that I might want to take a look into. I used to actually do this at the beginning of every month beside the cover page, but it worked a little bit at first, and then I found that I just wasn't really filling it up that much, and there was a lot of leftover blank space that just wasn't getting used up. And I didn't have the patience to go back and fill it with anything, so I decided to try doing a yearly spread like this. I just rounded up the corners and added a little bit of washi in like 2 sections just to give it a little bit of pop, but I prefer to keep things simple. And honestly, this is all that I did for yearly things. Like I don't like to do a year at a glance. I don't like any of that because I will have the calendar usually monthly, and I also, my life right now is kind of boring and I don't really have a lot of things that are planned in advance, so I don't really need it. I also don't do a key page or any of that kind of stuff, just because, like I said, if I don't need it, I don't put it in. And in the future, if I do need it, I'll just put it in. That's why I will do my setup month by month and even week by week sometimes. So for the monthly cover page, I just wrote January in these like boxy letters. I kind of like them. They look a little bit like futuristic. And then I also wrote out the month of January. In the middle of those two though, I was supposed to have this like thumbnail sketch that I previously had drawn in my sketchbook the other day, and I planned to just do exactly that and then use markers to color them in, but I really didn't feel like it on the day that I was doing the spread, so I honestly was just like, you know what, I'm gonna bring in some washi stickers that I have. They're like all mountainy sort of wintry scenes, and I cut one out and stuck it on, and I honestly loved it. It was a great decision. And since I had a lot of extra space at the bottom, I was like, you know what, I'll put in the 3 birthdays of this month, because it's my mom's birthday, my birthday, and my friend's birthday. Oh, and I just realized I forgot my cousin. Okay, it's fine. I'll add it in later. So that was the January cover page. Now, next to it, this is new to me because I normally don't ever do trackers, but I'm on medication recently that I have to take every day, and I keep forgetting. Every single day I take them, and every single day I forget if I took one. So I decided to add in a tracker for that, and then for walks, because I live in Ontario and my gym membership just got cancelled because gyms got closed because COVID. So I'm gonna try and see if I can get myself to walk every single day, but I at least just want to see how many times I go. And then I have a little idea section at the bottom here, just for video ideas or whatever else that comes into my mind that I want to take a note of during the month. Alright, so lastly we have how I do my weekly spreads, and I always do the same thing. On the left page, I'll divide it into 9 sections, which means that I get 2 extra sections to decorate and add like pops of color to the spread. But the 7 sections in the middle, I will write out the days of the week. So I'm really into doing like a box for the number and then writing out the day of the week beside it, and then adding a marker underline with usually the same color marker. And then on the right page, I call it my weekly things. So I'll write that in the top corner, add a line underneath, and then I'll put down bullet points while leaving some space at the bottom for more decoration. But this is done so that I can write out like more broad things that I want to get done throughout the week. Sometimes they're specific though, but generally they're more like broad. And then I will put them into the page on the left with the specific weekly like day sections. And then I'll add more little specific things like, you know, go on a walk, do laundry, you know, erase this footage, make more space on my iPad type of thing. But yeah, I'm gonna decorate the corners now. So on days that I really don't feel like being super creative, I will just do what I did here, which is I just do swatches of my washi tapes. I'll try to like keep it in the same like color family or do like cool color combos. And then in the bottom of the right page, I came in with more scrap paper. I think it was more just, why did I say paper like that? More scrap paper. And I get so nervous when the like record button starts. Sorry. More scrap paper in the bottom. I'll usually use like lined paper so that I can always like write myself a little note or do a little doodle in the bottom, but I find that I don't usually need the full page, so this is just another way to make my spread look cute and to experiment with the washi stickers and the stuff that I have. So yeah, this is my whole 2022 spread. It's super simple, and I hope that this encourages some of you who maybe see a lot of like super fancy bullet journal videos and feel like they can't do that. It doesn't have to be that fancy. You don't have to go all out with it. You can just use the things around you. I happen to have a lot of washi tapes, but if I didn't, I would just look around, you know, flyers and like junk mail and stuff like that and cut stuff out and just glue it in. You don't have to be super artistically inclined to have a cute little bullet journal, but it is fun to get creative with it. I think that's why a lot of people really like bujo content, because it's just like, it's a good way to get creative and get like fun with it, and you can do whatever you want. Remember that. That's what I'm trying to remind myself, that you can do whatever you want at the end of the day. Thank you guys for watching. Give the like button a boop if you want to support the algorithm gods, and I will see you next week. Bye!